Hi, my name is Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Brindille 8-light linear pendant. This is the 131087 continuation of the wonderful Brindille pieces Hubbardton has. This one's going to be a little bit more contemporary than the Brindille that has the large shade on it, which you should check out as well. Okay, let's get into the size of the fixture itself. Independent of what it's hanging from, we'll get into this in a little bit. 12.1 inches tall, 17 inches in depth, and this is good size, 54.8 inches left to right, so it's a very robust fixture. Overall height, now we're talking about the distance from the bottom of the fixture to the ceiling itself is going to give you a pretty good range. You're going to be able to have this as short as 21.3 and as long as 54.3 as standard product. However, this is going to ship with 120 inches of wire. Which means that if you want it to be longer than 54.2 from the ceiling to the bottom of the fixture, say you have a 12-foot ceiling or whatever, you've got a lot to play with. I could probably get this down, around 10 feet more or less from the ceiling to the bottom of the fixture, maybe a little less than that, but that's adding up. The 120 inches of wire, you're going to need to have a little bit of it to get to the box, and you would just be ordering extra kits of these. So automatically this is going to come with 6 pieces of the 12, 2 pieces of the 6, and 2 pieces of the 3. And I want to show you how to put this together now. And how we're going to do that is we're going to look at the installations instructions together. So if you're on the page for this on Handmade in Vermont, look over on that side of the screen. Midway down, you're going to see a link. It's going to say click here for installations instructions PDF. Open that up for me. It's going to show you a full parts list, all the things that come with it. It's going to show you how we're going to put it together. How I would put it together is don't put the light bulbs in until last. Take the fixture, put it down on like a counter or a table, maybe put a blanket on it so you don't scratch anything. Put it kind of on its side a little bit, and you're going to be feeding the wires through these pipes. And Hubbardton Forge has a system of these connected pipes that screw together, and they're using these little pieces called connectors. They have threading on both ends. The tubes, these guys have threading on the inside of the tubes, and what you're going to do is you're going to feed the wire through a connector, through a tube, through a connector, through a tube. So, and then you just basically screw them together. So you put in this guy, probably put in easy, hold on. Okay, now it's better. So put this in first, and then you take the next pipe, and remember, you're going to have wires going through this as you're doing what I'm doing right now. So, but it's super simple. They just screw together, and the engineering on this is so good that you barely even see a seam. It's pretty invisible once it's up. It's very good. If you need extra kits because you want it to be longer than the 54.3, kind of tell me the overall height you're trying to attain, and then I can kind of quote you on the kits. And how we do that is we have you email us. It's just very simple to do that. Okay, so a couple other things. So you'll notice on the website and on the installations instructions, there's going to be a chart, and the chart's going to be over there on the page for this. And that chart's going to show you which combinations of which rods you're going to use to get to the overall heights. Remember, we talked about bottom of the fixture to ceiling. Overall heights you can achieve basically by just using different combos. So it's a pretty easy and straightforward thing. It's very, very simple. Coming in at 24.2 pounds, so it just hangs from this guy, regular junction box. There's no big weight restrictions on it. You're good there. Let's talk about a couple other things. Let's talk about what's going on inside of it as far as lamping goes. So it's going to be using these. These are called E12s. They're also called chandelier sockets. They're just a little one that we all grew up with. Hubbardton has got these exclusive white, matte white light bulbs, LEDs, that are going to be used in this. It's a little bit like this, but think of this being matte white instead, and kind of exclusive to them. I don't know where they're getting them. Who knows? But they get a lot of cool stuff done for them that you can't find out on the market. If you ever break the bulbs or blow the bulbs out, which is kind of doubtful as far as blowing them out because LEDs last a long time, but we do sell replacement bulbs, so it's not a big deal. And if you wanted to, you could still use clear bulbs in it. So this is a G16, and that's kind of what those other ones are somewhat too. Just kind of a globe version, and these come LED, easy to get. It's actually called a G16.5. If you're looking at an LED version, you can get them at any store you guys walk into. So you've got 8 of these sockets, right? The G25s, which are these little bulbs, are going to be, well, it looks like 5 watt max. So that's almost like nothing. Well, it adds up. It adds up a lot. When you do LEDs, you don't use a lot of wattage to get to a lot of light. Each of these is going to be probably about the equivalent of a 40-watt incandescent bulb. That's what this guy is. But you're going to be doing LEDs in this. So, and they're included with it. So that adds up to a lot. It's also a dimmable fixture. So a couple things about that. You want to put it on a dimmer and tell your installer that you are using LEDs, so they put the correct dimmer on the wall. And also the light coming out of these LEDs is going to be 3000 Kelvin. 3000 Kelvin is that nice warm white like this coming down on my hands. It's not going to be a bluish white light like you see in a hospital waiting room or outside on a cloudy day. 3000 Kelvin is called warm white. That's what we like to use in our showroom. That's what's going to be on this fixture. Let's get into finishes now. If you're on the HandmadeInVermont.com website, look over on this side of the screen. Midway down, you're going to see a tab. It's going to say Finishes Help Guide. Click on that for me. There's going to be a video on there of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton forged finishes and how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be talking about a chart a little farther down on the page. You'll see it next to me here. It's going to kind of go over the differences between heavy forging and non-heavy forging, and it'll be talked about in that video. So it's really important that you kind of watch the video, use the chart. You can click on that chart on different things. So you can click on dark smoke and a big page will pop up and show you lots of different things in dark smoke. Click on burnished steel or natural iron, it'll do the same thing. But it's really important that you understand how Hubbardton Forge's finishes are kind of divided into translucent and opaque and how they can look on different fixtures. Our showroom in Vermont has we're up to 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures spread across 2 floors. We have a What's on Display page. It's way up there in those red tabs again, so click on that and you can see what we have to show you. That changes all the time because we're always adding things as they come out. Showroom's open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. We have an amazing clearance center here too. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued things, and showroom samples. If you were coming to visit us, bring a good-sized vehicle, something like a big SUV or maybe a small truck or something like that, because you might find something in the clearance center that you want to take home, and it's a lot of fun to go through. 75% off MSRP is an amazing bargain, so you should really take advantage of it if you can. Like I said, we're open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call us at 802-446-2400 during business hours. You can email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. We love to answer emails. When you buy your Hubbardton Forge fixtures from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. There's no tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont, and we're the only dealer with 90-day returns and no restocking fees. No one else even comes close to that. Some larger items are non-returnable. We'll always tell you about that. It'll be in the description thing, that part of the description underneath on the very bottom. So keep an eye out for that. We also offer a rush program. Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get product out. They don't stock anything. That's how you're going to get all your finishes, your adjustable ranges to play with, all those things. We can cut that time in half, and it's super inexpensive. If you want to know more, drop a quick email, and I'll walk you through the whole thing, okay? So, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Love to see you in our showroom sometime, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.